Hello, everybody. Brian here from quantlabs.net. Just waiting for everything to sync up here on YouTube. Let's get the screen obviously shared. You don't want to see my Goldilocks here, so that should be taking care of that. Okay. Before we get started, lots of stuff happening. I only do the traditional markets because, well, it's interesting and it does have an impact on crypto, but crypto does outperform. Namely, right now, what's going on, we'll go into. But if you want to see what I'm typing up, just come on over to my private chat server, get some basic training. Motivate the platform I'm about to show you, as well as Python trading bots for crypto. You can get that at quantlabs.net/DVD, as well as quantlabs.net to get on our email list and get some free, nice secret trading books at the same time. So here we are on Motivate. Yay. All right. So what's happening in the markets? Well, let me just show you what's been going on with just overall globally in the markets as of today. Today's the 16th, 1729. This here is a lot of red. S&P, Dow's down, NASDAQ slightly up, Russell's down. I don't know why people trade this. Any of this actually. Silver's down. Forex is really barely moving compared to, Bitcoin's down, which is fine, but this is where the growth is, 3.68. Okay. So that's the best performing the last day, let's say. FTSE slightly up, Nikkei slightly up. That's what's going on. So let's talk more about the mainstream market. And let's have, like I said, some fun. Now, I find this very interesting. NASDAQ has been performing pretty good. Still got along, which is good. But this is where it gets scary. When you start to see the US top 30, makes me concerned on a few things. The stimulus is clearly not working because that shouldn't be happening. And we'll see some coins here, some shorts on some crypto. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Gold in Swiss franc long, gold in yen long. So that tells you that these are the classic safe havens. They're starting to show some strength. So this is the rest of the world view on CFDs on Oanda. This is where they think money's going, based upon these harmonic scans. In the franc, so it's all precious metals right now. It's long. Silver and euro long. Same with a pound. Same with the Hong Kong dollar. Same with the yen. New Zealand, Asia. Question is, where's the US dollar and all those, either in silver and gold? No one wants to hold gold or. So again, the rest of the world is worried about the US national debt, even though they just pumped $2 trillion in the economy. And here they think that that might work. I think it has less impact now because they're up to $30 trillion of it. I listened to Bloomberg Radio and they're saying, well, what they're going to do is let the inflation kick in. Like what they did in the late 70s and early 80s. So you have to look for alternative places to store money. Why do you think I'm working on crypto? Like in a big way. So Euro and CHF, I don't have a very positive view of Euro right now. With their shenanigans going on with the AstraZeneca and all that. So sorry. But here's an interesting one, is the Euro Norway. That I like to see as safe haven. good balance sheet for Norway. That's why people pile into Norway as a safe haven. People think it's going to be yen or the franc, or Swiss franc. It's going to be either Norwegian or Swedish. This one we don't worry about. Okay, so I talked. Namely here, which is very encouraging. You know, as long as the saber rattling with China doesn't continue, I hope to see more good news coming out of Taiwan. Two longs there, pretty good, considering this market. NASDAQ continues to still have those longs, but look how far off it is. It's not very far. So it's not like way up here, like, or higher, past the high here of the 14th of February. We might still get a little bit, but we'll see how it goes throughout the weekend as Wednesday comes around with the Fed 2-day conference. More Forex shorts. Here's a Russell. It's got a short, big one. And this index contains all the little companies on the US stock exchanges. So this is very sensitive. Let's see how India is looking. See right here, it had a really good volume right there, started to drift since. So we're talking in the neighborhood of late February, I believe. Something was going on with India. I really don't know. If I look for it, I'm sure I could find it. Another short in the US 30. Oh, oddly enough, harvest springtime. Corn's got a long here. Interesting here. Starting to move up a little bit is the pair, the franc and the yen. Lollies, I'm not going to worry about. NASDAQ has its another long here. This really caught my eye. I didn't see this before. Check this out. Really steady trade here since February. Japan, British pound against the Japanese yen. Nice steady incline, but it's starting to taper off. Now starting to short there, but this could be an interesting one to watch. That's a really good one, actually. It's like oil. We'll show that in a minute. Again, as I said, Norway is looking good. We got 1, 2. That's the third long. Here we get into Sweden. It has a short, but believe me, this can come out of nowhere. This one. Now we get back into gold longs. Now this is the one I've talked about numerous times to watch on how things move around in terms of safe havens. Is the gold silver ratio. It has its long and a short. So as I said, we have here, looks like there's some shorts here. It's really potentially what I'm seeing here. Well, that's hard to say. But silver in Canadian, that's 2 longs there. Silver in Swiss franc. Silver in pound is looking good. But again, where is the US dollar? You're not seeing gold, silver wanting to be held here in US dollar, okay? That is something to be taken note on. Euro in the check, and a couple of shorts there. Again, Euro and Japanese yen. So quite possibly the world is lining up on these yen trades. These consistent longs from February. I'm going to show you potentially why on the US Treasury. I'll show you that towards the end. Again, Euro, Swedish is pointing down, long. Look at how badly hit the Euro against the South African Rand has been. Same. Well, oddly, Euro and Turkish lira is holding its own. Here we have the if you're a bond trader, you might want to hold the Bund. Here you can see there's a slight long. Japanese 225 markets looking okay. I saw a short there in one of them. Another long call for NASDAQ. Not much going on in Saudi Arabia, of course. Okay, so here we go. We have a long, I haven't seen this in a while, a long call on a 2-year bond. So that might start to turn around. More long calls on US Norway. I got another short. I don't know why that's happening. A USD Swedish Turkish lira, got 2 shorts there. Natural gas, of course, we expect that to go down. Soybean short, wheat short. The pound against is another short against the yen. Pound against New Zealand. Short. Look at that again. Pound against the rand. Really declining there. Okay, so this is our first pair in US dollar. New Zealand, 2 longs. So that says something about the New Zealand dollar. Doesn't say much about the US dollar and the strength of it. Okay, here's another important one. Is copper. This is starting to point down with a short. That's very critical. That's happening. You can see here, it looked really good up until the end of February. Starting to get choppy, and it's starting to either weaken. We don't know what it's doing. It really comes down to this virus. But if that continues, you can expect that to go down. This is an early warning indicator on how things are looking, regardless. Well, it is related around the virus as well. And that's pretty well it. Let's just check out Australian US dollar. Another short there. One I should add to this is, okay, we have Brent crude oil, just a sudden move up, predictable too, which is good since November. I can say the same thing about WTI as well, same thing. But here's where it gets interesting. China was looking bad. It's starting to recover a little bit here. These are 4-hour charts. Sorry, daily charts. So it did take a big hit. That's China 50. As I said, copper struggling there. But if anything is ordering, it's going to be the companies based out of Hong Kong, because I showed you the Hong Kong market. That had a nice long, but that could be temporary. We talked about the Australian dollar. It's just going down. So that's in relation to this trade with copper. So these work out. But if oil continues, let me show you this pair. We haven't talked about in a while, but I've heard it's starting to turn around. Yeah, well, you can see oil, USD in Canada is still declining. That's why it's not registering on my scans. So it's continuing. They said, oh, it's going to strengthen. I don't see it. Let's see what else we got here. NASDAQ, we already know about. Okay, so let's take a look at some bonds here. 5-year, right? It's still tanking. A little tiny recovery there. This is what we need to watch. Same thing with a 10-year. 30 years, it's been in a steady decline since August. That says something about the U.S. market, the market outlook. This is what they're not telling you from the Fed. It's all smoke and mirrors with them. They'll try to spin it in a positive way, like a typical politician, come tomorrow and Thursday. So that's not looking good either. So in my mind, I think the overall, there's 2 big drivers here. We have obviously the pandemic and the spike that's coming around globally. For the rest of the world, the US seems to not be seeing it, which is fine for them, but I think it'll come back in a much later period of time. And then from there, this story of the US debt and treasury yield, that's going to be the catalyst that'll take everything down. The cards, I think it's going to crumble. It's going to crumble real hard. The data shows it. The charts show it. I don't know what more to tell you on that. as it stands, they're trying to use the markets as the good news story, which it is, but it's very tentative. From what I'm seeing, it's starting to taper and drop back. You can clearly see that with the rest of the world, people want to hold money in gold, silver. They're choosing some really strong currencies, everything except US dollar. We looked at Japanese yen, the Swiss franc, the pound, the euro, but not the US dollar. So that says something as well. For me in Canada, it's not a good story, not a good outlook there. Our debt's way higher than the US. And obviously the yield's the driving factor. Gold, silver, people think they're going to be able to hide out in that. I find that pretty laughable. I've just shown you the charts. They're not really moving anywhere. And they're not performing the way they are. I mean, the US dollar is going down. They're trying to put out spin stories, and with the corrupt media putting out there, which means you can't believe it. That's why these charts are really critical now to watch these, because these charts don't lie. So there's that. So it's going to be a crash and burn pretty hard, I think. There's going to be no savior. And if the virus really takes hold with whatever variant of a variant, whatever they want to call it, that still takes hold, whatever. But funny enough, the agriculture is doing okay, namely corn. There's some good stories out there, like oil's still looking pretty good. But again, not just due to the manipulation from OPEC, because they can control the supply, no matter what the demand is. So they have that opportunity. This one, with the amount of longs I'm seeing with USD, Norway, that's a good thing, but it's a safe haven. I'd probably at some point pile into USD and Sweden as another place. So I don't know. Okay, but you might ask, where's a real good place to be if you are outside the US? Just pile into Binance. Just showed up in my last video. Some of these coins are just doing unreal moves. Doesn't need to be Bitcoin or Ethereum, but it does definitely help. The futures and the money there, that's where the future's at. And that's where I'm putting a lot of my investment, energy, my technical know-how into those to really optimize that. I'm trying to educate people that are on Kraken and wherever else, Coinbase, that you want to be making a lot more money in crypto, be on Binance. Those that can afford to be on Binance, do it. Again, it's not very long before I do my webinar on that. Come 7 o'clock tonight, hour and a quarter from now. Leave it at that. Thanks for watching. I don't see any comments. If you want, just keep your eye. I might stream it live on YouTube at 7 p.m. Hour and a quarter, big benefit of being on Binance. So leave it at that. Thanks for watching. And cheers. Over and out. Later.